Hey, I am ChristopherJMUA, and I humbly welcome you back to my channel. Unless of course you've never been here, then welcome. I'm very glad you stopped by. You may be wondering why my face is bare. You may not be wondering why my face is bare. Either way, I'm going to tell you why my face is bare. It is bare because today we are going to be reviewing the Profusion Pro Pigment Palette. I have never worked with Profusion palettes before. Mark actually got me this because he's amazing and that's the only reason why. He wanted me to play with an affordable palette instead of a prestige palette, if you will. If you don't know who Mark is, I will link a video right up here so you can see who he is. But he is my boyfriend and I'm pretty sure he wanted me to see what a $10 palette would be like instead of a $52 palette, so that maybe I would start buying only $10 palettes. Regardless of the intentions, this is the palette that I have and that I am using. We are going to be checking this out, looking at the shades that are in the palette, seeing how they perform and what they swatch like. I will be doing full swatches for you. We're just gonna get down and dirty with Profusion and see what they're all about. So if you wanna see what the Profusion Pro Pigment Palette swatches like and performs like on these eyes, just sit right where you are, don't touch a thing, and keep on watching. Now I have quite a few videos to film today, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into it. I'm first going to go over what the details of this Profusion Pro Pigment Palette are, and then we'll go from there. Now first, let me say that Mark got me this palette from Walmart, and it was $10 plus some tax, but it was super affordable. From the actual Profusion website, I'm going to be reading the description of the palette, so that we have a little bit of backstory before we get into swatching and the actual tryout. As far as description goes, it says, take your eye looks to the next level with this 21 shade multi-finish eyeshadow palette. Features a variety of shades in different finishes to customize your look. Ultra blendable pigments can be worn alone or layered for stunning definition. Includes dual-ended Pro Series brush for quick and easy application? No, I don't have a dual-ended brush. I have a single-ended brush. Even the palette in the picture with this description has a single-sided brush. That's weird. Maybe they meant to put a dual-ended brush in it, but forgot. It also says it's ideal for a wide variety of skin tones. Do you love creating a diverse array of eye looks, but hate the inconvenience of having several eyeshadow compacts in your makeup kit? The Pro Pigment Eyeshadow Palette from Profusion Cosmetics offers a solution. Boasting more than 20 Pro Pigment shades, this eyeshadow palette has everything you need to create bright, defined eyes that are perfect for every occasion. And the dual-ended Pro Series brush makes master application fast and easy every time. The palette includes both matte and shimmer shadows that are easy to apply and blend, allowing you to achieve customized looks that are suitable for your unique skin tone. This affordable eyeshadow palette is a must-have addition to your cosmetics case. Order yours online now. And it kind of gives like a little basic breakdown of the shades that are in the palette. It says a combination of shimmering opals, rich berries, bright pinks, and soft wearable violets. Alright, so let's open this palette up and see exactly what we're working with. It is taped shut, which is good. I like that. If you've ever noticed at like TJ Maxx and Ross, people like to take things that aren't taped shut and swatch them and put them back for some reason, which I'm sure would be the same case at Walmart if they had the capability. So thank you, Walmart, for sealing the palette, or Profusion if you're the one who did it. Whoever sealed it, thank you. So this is what we get when we open it up. Ooh. Those shades are very pretty. I mean, of course you could see it through the palette, but the shades are pretty. It looks like a nice brush. It feels good. It's not the softest brush I've ever felt, but it's nice. If I had to guess, I would say the Morphe equivalent of the Profusion brush would be the Morphe M513 brush. They're mostly the same, but the Morphe one is a little bit bigger. Pretty much, it's a big fluffy blending brush. The only thing with this one is that it has these little pieces of hair or bristles. They're coming up the side. I think I'm gonna have to cut those off before I use it because I don't think they're supposed to be there. This isn't a duo fiber brush. It's just a dual-ended brush. Not really. Okay, well this is not a brush review and I will not be using that brush today because I have my own to use. So I'm going to zoom you guys in and we're gonna go ahead and get started on the swatches. Wow, okay, so you can't see that one at all, but really all it is is just a white with a bunch of yellow and purple glitters in it. That's probably why you can't see it, because it's just glitter reflex. You should be able to see it in the pictures afterward. Okay, and that is officially every single shade in the palette, all 21. And as always, I will show photos of the swatches, both with flash and without flash. And of course, I want to make sure that I include a video of the swatches with flash on. That first shade you really can't see until now. But this is the entire palette. Now, first off, let me say that I personally believe that swatches tell nothing about a palette's capability, its quality, or its technical pigmentation on the eye, because it's not on the eye. I don't use an eyeshadow base on my arm at all, so that is just right out of the palette exactly the colors that you get. But with that, let me say that about 3/4 of that palette, I hated the swatches. It wasn't really until we got into about the last row and two shades, I guess, that I actually started to enjoy the swatches. The first swatches, I think because they're just lighter shades, quality-wise felt kind of powdery and dry, and they just didn't swatch the greatest. They kind of looked a little patchy. But again, swatches have nothing to do with the actual pigmentation and quality that you get. So let's go ahead and jump into an eye look, and we are going to figure out exactly if those swatches were correct or not. I believe this is actually the first time I've ever even tried anything from Profusion. So I'm pretty excited to try this, and I'm really hoping that it does pan out, because don't get me wrong, if I could find a $10 palette that I'm actually happy with, that I could use on the daily, then I have absolutely no problem with that. Especially one that I could suggest to you guys that you would actually like, and for only 10 bucks. If you know me, you know that my go-to drugstore pricing company is always Colourpop. Colourpop is like my homie. We are chill. Profusion, you see like everywhere. Well, like Walmart, TJ Maxx, Ross, so on and so forth. Marshalls, except I don't have a Marshalls close to me. I think maybe in Little Rock, which is about an hour away. Now I'm gonna start out by going in with my P. Louise base and just priming my eyes. No, actually, since P. Louise base is kind of hard to get, let's go with something a little more affordable. Okay, we're actually gonna use the Midas Cosmetics Angel Eyes Eye Primer. I don't remember if it's technically affordable, but it would surely be easier to get than the P. Louise base. That took like, I don't know, 3 weeks to come in because it came from the UK, which as far as I know is the only place you can get P. Louise base. Okay, my eyelids are primed, and now that I think about it, I think there were only like 3 or 4 matte shades in this palette. And I think Fling is a matte shade. I think Devoted is. I'm pretty sure Jive was, and Bestie was, and I guess Go Girl was. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matte shades. So how about we go in with Disco first, which is this pink shade here. Let me double check and make sure it was actually matte. Yeah, that's matte. Now I did not set my eyeshadow base, and I don't know if I should have or not. So we're gonna see how this works. I just don't know how this formula is gonna enjoy working with everything else. Now the Angel Eyes primer is still very, very tacky, so I can see that it's like darkening the pink shade when I put it on. It's not making it too dark, but it's making it darker than what it looks like in the pan. So we're gonna see if that will lighten up a little bit once I kind of stack it up there. Okay, so this is definitely not the most pigmented shade that I've worked with, for sure, but it is buildable. It's building up to a very nice pink, and it is looking like the pink that's in the pan. So we're getting up to that pink, kind of ish. It actually looks more like that pink now, just because it darkened because of the eyeshadow base I have on. But I'm gonna keep building it up and blending it out, getting it a nice seamless edge. Oh, and if I didn't tell you, I'm using the Morphe M453 brush. It's a round blending brush, but it's tapered and it comes to a point, and I really like using this to put eyeshadow right in the inner corner, because I can use that point to kind of maneuver right in there and just blend outward from that. It's really nice. Okay, I like where that's at with the pigmentation, but now I'm going to take a clean Morphe M514 fluffy blending brush and just blend out the outer edges of that to kind of diffuse that clean line and make it a smooth gradient from the pink to my skin tone. I just don't like that harsh edge that it has, and I want to get rid of that. Okay, the pink is on and blended out. The edges are softened a little bit. It's not such a harsh whablam, you know? It's not like a perfect clean line. So now I want to deepen things up a little bit, and I want to take the shade Devoted here and put that in my crease and kind of just deepen everything, you know? It was either between Devoted or Go Girl, because Go Girl is also a little bit darker than Disco, but I figured I want to kind of go more on like the maroony side of things instead of more the pinky direction. Kind of romantic, you know? And I'm just taking the M433 Morphe brush to do that with. It's just a little bit flatter of a blending brush. It doesn't have that rounded edge on it, so you can get kind of right there within the crease. I think it's funny that so far I've used the shades Disco, Devoted. So far, these shades are blending in well together. I don't notice any specific problems or patchiness or anything like that. They are working appropriately, and I'm enjoying that. And I do like those two together. They blended in very nicely. I think rather than having it rounded though, I'm gonna take a little bit of the deeper shade and just drag it out a little bit, just to kind of give it that like elongated effect. And now I'm just gonna go back in with the Morphe M453. This is the brush that I had the shade Disco on, and I'm just gonna blend in Disco and Devoted together. They honestly pretty much blended together seamlessly anyway, but I'm extra, and I like that extra blend, that's all. I'm doing this very, very lightly, very, very lightly. And again, just going over the edge with the Morphe M514 brush, just to make sure it's all seamless and beautiful. Okay. Love it. So far, so good. Now, that was count them, two shades. I'm gonna take the shade Nebula, that deep purpley looking dark shade, and I'm gonna go into that with the Morphe M209, big, flat, fluffy blending brush. It's very long, so it kind of has a little bit of like leeway when you try to blend with it. And I'm just gonna lightly pat that on my outer V and kind of see what happens. I want it to deepen up the outer crease and V area, but not be too crazy. And I'm hoping that works. Ooh, you know what? I'm also gonna take that and put that on my inner corner as well. Ooh, I love that. That's nice. Okay, I like this progress. So now I guess we're going for more of like a spotlight eye instead. Now since that got just a little bit messy, I'm gonna go back in with my Morphe M433 brush and just kind of blend out the crease where the shade Devoted and the shade Nebula meet, just so they can kind of diffuse that edge a little bit and not be so sharp again. Okay, I got those edges blended out and I'm really liking this. I will admit, the shades are a little powdery and a little dry, but there's hardly any kickback in the pan and I don't really have any fallout except for if I'm like using excessive shadow, but they're blending so seamlessly and they look so good. They're not getting patchy and they're just like melting together and I'm loving it. They're actually doing what an eyeshadow palette is supposed to do. Granted, it doesn't feel like it costs $50, but it's not $50, it's $10. So no worries. And since we're kind of following this whole pink, purple, maroony type thing, let's go with the shade Popi or Popi, I'm guessing Popi, on the lid on the spotlight part of my eye. Now typically for a spotlight, I just use my finger normally because it fits perfectly right in the middle, but just for the sake of testing out this palette, I'm gonna go in with a Morphe M204 brush, which is a flat packer brush, and just pat it on just to see what kind of payoff we might get the first time using a dry shadow. Wow, guys, for a $10 palette, and that just put pigment down without spraying the brush. Oh wow. You know what, Profusion? You did something with this palette. I mean, I'll admit, I've seen Profusion before, but I've been like apprehensive of trying out the products because they were so affordable. And I'm really regretting that I did. That just goes to show that you can never judge a book by its cover. Okay, now that I'm done using the shade Popi, which is gorgeous by the way, since the shade Atomic is the closest to just white and it doesn't have a tint to it, I'm gonna use that just on my pinky and take the tiniest bit of it and put it right on the tippy top of my eyelid so that it looks like it's the front of the spotlight. Okay, just like that. I just wanted just a little bit, so that worked out. Now last for this part, I'm gonna take my Morphe M431 inner corner highlight brush and go into the shade Precious right here. This is the one that we couldn't see anything from except for the purple glitter. And I'm gonna see if I can use that right in the inner corner. I would say that's a yes. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, well, yeah, you can see it. Okay, it looks like almost a hot pink. Yay! Alright, so far so good. I'm also going to take that shade on my Morphe M151 brow bone highlighter brush. I think this is a brow bone highlighter brush. I'm going to use it as a brow bone highlighter brush. And I'm going to highlight my brow bone. And I'm just using the same shade. I actually also went back into the shade Atomic to add on top of the shade Precious. That's the one with the purple glitter. Because the one with the purple glitter as a brow bone highlight wasn't really working because it was only putting glitter up there. So I went in and added more of a highlight. Okay, that is it for this part of the eyeshadow. All I really have left to do is my lower lash line, just to add some color to that and kind of clean up the edges, a few touches. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my face off camera. And then once I come back, we will do the lower lash line and make sure that everything is perfect, and I'll give my final thoughts on the palette itself. So I will see you guys in just a second. My makeup is now completely completed. And as you can see, I have completely finished my face makeup and my lipstick, and also finished up my eyes. All I did on the eyes is I took just the slightest bit of the shade Precious on the inner corner again, just so it could like define the bottom lash line a little bit more. And I took some of the shade Jive, that like vibrant pink, on my lower lash line, just to really like kind of make that pop, I guess. And I wanted to tie in the pink on the top with some pink on the bottom. And I think it all really worked out well, honestly. The only thing that I didn't like, and I don't know if this had something to do with me, the way I was doing my makeup, I'm not really sure, but at first, the shade Popi, how it was on my lid, I sprayed my face a few times with setting spray as I was going through my face makeup. And once I got to the end of that, I looked at my eyes again and all of the shade Popi had gone from my lids and just disappeared. And that darker shade on the outsides showed through. And I thought that was really odd. But now that I think about it, it was probably because it was getting wet. And whenever it was getting wet, it was fading, and that made it kind of melt into everything. Needless to say, I just went back and I touched it up just a little bit right on that spot again. And ever since I did that, I haven't had a problem with it. I think that was more of a user error than anything else. So, do I recommend the Profusion Pro Pigment Palette? Yeah, I really do. Like a lot. Because not only did I get buildable nice pigment out of these, the shimmers also pack a punch well without any kind of spray. Now I can say that the mattes are powdery and dry. I don't know if that's the case for every Profusion palette or if that's just kind of the formula in general. It does kind of feel like it's a $10 palette, like you can kind of, I don't know, just the texture feels like a $10 palette, and it almost even kind of goes on the eye like a $10 palette. Colors aren't quite as pigmented the first time you put them on. You have to build them up a little bit, but that's really not a problem as long as you can build up the color. Of course, Profusion can never take the place of my Colourpop in my heart, because they will always have that special place there for affordable, great quality makeup. However, Profusion can rank very high amongst that. So if you want to spend $10 and pick yourself up a very warm, springy type palette, to me anyway. Actually, I feel like this could be like spring, summer, and fall, maybe. I don't know if I'd go for winter with it, but you could probably pull out fall with these shades, spring and summer all with these shades. So if you want 3 out of 4 seasons in a palette, then this is your palette. And also, if you have time, try to check out some of my other videos. I just reviewed the Juvia's Place Foundation, and I also just reviewed the Jeffree Star of the glosses. So if you've got some time, and I have them out, then go ahead and check out those videos too. Speaking of checking those out, I'm so glad that you came here in this video to check me out and this little Profusion palette. If you did enjoy this video, or if you do like Profusion, or if you do like Colourpop, or if you do like Juvia's Place, or if you do like Jeffree Star, or if you do like Morphe brushes, then give me a thumbs up. Also, if you don't like any of those things, then give me a thumbs up as well, and that will let me know that you do, don't, were, or was going to. I don't know. If you do want to see this look and more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My username is the same for everything. It is simply ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, or any of my videos, if you gain nothing out of this entire day, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you. Bye guys.